everyone, and welcome back to Devil Leap. I am your host Athulya. So tell me, have you ever stopped for a moment and asked yourself, why does rice and wheat cost this much? Why do we have buses running on certain routes and not others? Why is education free in some schools but not in others? Well, my friends, the answer is not just about money, not just about politics. It's about something much bigger, public policy. And today, we are diving into this topic, public policy and government. Now, let's get real for a second. I want you to imagine this. You wake up in the morning, stretch, yawn, and maybe go and make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. The water you are using, it comes through a supply system planned and managed by the government. The electricity for your kettle, that's part of an energy policy. The road you take to work, the bus you catch, the safety rules on that road, all of it's tied back to public policy. See how policy touches every single part of your daily life. Even the price of onion in your kitchen is decided by government regulations, subsidies, and trade policies. So, when we say policy, it's not just some boring document gathering desk in a government office. It's living, breathing decisions that affect the way you and I live. Now, I can almost hear some of you asking, okay, Atulya, but what exactly is public policy? Think of it this way. Public policy is basically the choices government make to solve problems or improve society. It's like a roadmap, a guide that says, here is the problem, here is how we are going to fix, and here is the rule book. Everyone has to follow. Policies are not made in vacuum. They are the result of debates, research, politics, and yes, even conflict of interest. For example, education policy decide what textbooks children will study. Health policy decide how much hospital can charge or whether vaccines are free. Environmental policy decide how much pollution industries can release. So, in short, public policy is the bridge between government action and people's everyday life. Now, here is the big question. Who actually make these policies? Well, the obvious answer is the government. But it's not just one person. Policies are shaped by ministers, bureaucrats, lawmakers, expert committees, and sometimes even the judiciary. But here is the twist. Policies are also influenced by public demand, media pressure, protest, and even social media hashtags. Let's say there is a sudden outcry on Twitter about road safety, and after a big accident, you will notice the government suddenly starts talking about stricter traffic rules. That's how public opinion can push policy. So, it's not just about politicians sitting in a closed room, it's also about citizens raising their voice. And that's where democracy gets really exciting. Now, I want to pause here and ask you, do you think policies are always neutral? No, policies are not just about solving problems, they are also about power. Which group gets subsidies, which community get special schemes, which industries get tax breaks. These are not random decisions, they were deeply political. Take agriculture for example. If the government sets a higher minimum support price for the wheat, the farmers benefit, but consumers may end up paying more for bread. So, in every policy, there is a winner and a loser. That's why studying public policy is not just about laws, It's about justice, equality, and fairness. Let's bring this closer to home. Think about the Right to Education Act. It made schooling free and compulsory for children up to 14 years. That's a massive public policy step. Or the National Health Mission, which provides affordable healthcare in rural areas. Or even more recently, the policies during COVID-19 pandemic. Lockdowns, vaccination drives, online classes, all of these were public policies in action. Some worked, some didn't, but every single one shaped how we lived, worked, and survived during that time. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Atulya, this is all fine, but why should I care? I am not a policy maker. But here is the truth, you are a policy subject. Every policy affects you, whether you like it or not. From the price of petrol to the job reservation system to women's safety laws to climate change regulations, everything comes back to policy. And here is the exciting part, you can influence it through voting, through civic engagement, through NGOs, through petitions, through social media campaigns. Policy is not just something that happens to you, it's something you can help to shape. Now, let's not forget the other half of today's topic, the government. The government is like the driver of the car, and public policy is the GPS map. And society, you and me, we are the passengers. Sometimes the driver listens, sometimes the driver ignores us, sometimes the map itself is faulty. But at the end of the day, without a driver, the car doesn't move. The government's job is to listen, analyze, and act. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. And yes, sometimes it fails us. But even failures teach us something, how to demand better. And of course, making policy is not easy. Let's be real. India is a diverse country with 1.4 billion people. One size does not fit all. A policy that works in Kerala may not work in Rajasthan. There are also issues of corruption, bureaucracy, political issue, lack of resources. The list goes on. But despite all this, policy is what keeps the system moving. It's messy, it's complicated, but it's necessary. So, as we wrap up, I want you to take away three things. First one, policy is everywhere, from your kitchen to your classroom to your office. The second one, policy is power. It shapes who benefits, who struggles, and who gets left behind. The last one, policy is participatory. You and I are not powerless. We can influence the way policies are made. So, the next time you hear the word policy, don't roll your eyes and think it's boring. Think of it as the invisible thread connecting you to the government, to your community, to your future. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Develop. I hope this gave a fresh perspective on public policy and government. If you enjoyed this episode, share with a friend, start a discussion, and maybe even question the next policy you hear about. Until the next time, it's Athulya signing off. Stay curious, stay aware, and keep leaping forward.